Hello and welcome. So this Advent of Cyber 2025 challenge is about to end very soon. In this video, what we will be doing is the 23 challenge, which is all about the AWS security. We'll learn about the basic of AWS enumeration. So let's see what we have in the story. So one of the TBFC employee has managed to got access to one of the bad guy or hacker or the bad bunny. In this case, his name is Sir Garrett Payne. And what the TBFC employees find out that only the shop of this guy there are bunch of credentials, and the TBFC employee suspect that the credentials that are only the stop that he find might be the credential for accessing the AWS account. So the learning objective we have is that we will learn the basic of AWS account, and then we will also learn what permission a stolen account has, and with that we will also learn how to use the AWS command line tool, or what we call the AWS CLI. Basically we can manage the AWS from our terminal as well. So first we need to start the virtual machine from here, and then we have some more text over here. Let's also discuss this. So when you want to manage the AWS account from the terminal or command line, you will need these two stuff, the access key ID and the secret access key. So these are the credentials that the TBFC employee found on the desktop of the Garrett Payne device. Once our machine gets started, we will then type this command in the terminal, and we will get similar kind of response. This means that the user ID we have is this and the account is this, and this also confirm that we are logged in into Sir Garrett Payne. And after that we will also run this command to see what is the number shown for the account parameter. So yeah, as you can see, the machine is started. Now let's open the terminal and let's type. Let me just copy this and paste it on the terminal. Okay, one more thing is that we will use this credential and we will store it over here on this machine. So for that we will do cd command and then go to this, like as I already did. Once you did, you will be in the AWS directory, and then let's do the ls and also do the lsla. So we don't see any file that with the name of credentials. So what we will do is to type nano, and then what we are going to do next is we will type credentials. This will create a file named credential, and after that we will just copy these credential and then paste it here. And after that I am just going to press Ctrl+X and then press the Y, and let me just press enter. Now let's see if we have the file or no. Let's do the ls. As you can see, we have made the credential file. Now let's just type this command, and as you can see I have just cleared the screen, and then after that I ran this command and see the user ID is this and the account number is this, and as we can confirm that we are logged in into the Sir Garrett Payne, right? And after that what we will do is to copy this command. Let me just copy this and paste it here. Okay, basically these two commands is the same, I just noticed. Yeah, so this is the account parameter. Let's just copy this and paste it here. Yeah, and now we can move to the task 2. Alright, so we are on the task 2 now, which is all about the IAM, and then we have the users, roles, groups and policy. I'll explain all of these in a moment. So first of all, what is the IAM? So IAM basically stands for Identity and Access Management. It's a kind of system on the AWS that controls who can do what in your AWS account, and if it's configured incorrectly, then even the basic, like let's say you have two user, one has like basic access of the AWS account and another has like high level privileges. If the IAM is configured incorrectly, so that basic level user, that user which has the basic privileges can also use those high level privileges and can do more advanced stuff. And then over here next what we see these stuff, users, roles, group and policy. These are basically the main 4 type of IAM, or identity and access management. So let's discuss the IAM users. IAM user represent a single user, like each of the user has its own credential, password and access key. And furthermore, like let's say you are giving a special permission to any user, you can also give the permission at user level. And then we have the IAM groups. So let's say there are 100 people and you want to give a specific permission to all of those users. Instead of giving the permission to each of the user one by one, you make a group and you define or give the permission to that group and you add all of those 100 people. So this is how they get the same permission instead of doing one by one. And you can easily remove or add any of the person you want. And after that we have the IAM roles. So IAM roles basically is something that gives a specific user some permission, which is defined in the role, that what role this is about. If you have used Discord, you can understand this pretty well. Basically there is a like option or role kind of. Each role has its own name and you give it to the person. You can take it away from any of the user at any time, and also you can give it to the how many user you want. There is no limit. And after that they get some certain kind of permission, depend on the role, that what role we are giving to the person. And now there is IAM policies. So basically IAM policies are the actual rule that say what is allowed and what is not. It is written in the JSON format like this. And a policy answer question like who gets the permission, and also what action can they do, and on which thing or resource, and under what condition. So first we have the version over here, as you can see. So what this says is this just says which version of the policy language AWS should use, and almost every AWS policy start with this. And after that we have the statement, as you can see. This is the main part of the policy, and here we mention the statement ID. It's like a name or label for this rule, and we have given this specific name for the rule, and we have now set whether that specific action or thing should be allowed or not. So in this case we have add laws, and next we have the principal. So what this means is who this rule applies to, like a user or role or account. So in this case we have a AWS user named Alice and its account number is this. And next we have these two lines. So action means what they are allowed to do, and in the second line, as we can see, they can download a file from S3 bucket. S3 basically is a storage service of the AWS. And after that we have this line. Let's just specify on which thing the action is allowed. So we are just specifying everything in the S3 bucket. Its name is my private bucket. Everything inside in this bucket can be accessed by this user. I hope you understand all this. And now we have this question: what IAM component is used to describe the permissions to be assigned to a user or a group? So as we discussed above over here, in the policies, permissions are defined or described inside policy, and after that, once we describe the policy, we then attach to if we want to user or group or any role. So the answer we have is policies. So let's just copy this and paste it here. We need to write policy, not policies. So yeah, and now we can move to task 3, which is all about the enumeration. As you saw earlier in the task 1, we have got some credentials that were on the Sir Garrett device on his desktop, and you also saw that we took those credentials and added those in the configuration file. Now what we will be doing is that we'll be interacting with the AWS CLI to find more information, like finding out what permission we have and what data exists in the account and what user exists. For that we need to open the machine again. So now we have opened the machine. Just paste this command and see the result. As you can see, we got the result. This is the user and user ID, and also when this user was created. Now the next thing we have is we will enumerate the user policies. We'll find out and investigate about the user policies. So first thing about is that there are two kinds of policy. One is inline and another is what we call attached policies. So inline policies, think of it like it's only for a specific user, not specific users but a single user. If you delete that user, the policy will disappear too. Think of like it's only for that single person. And then we have the attached policy, you can make a policy and then you can give it to a specific group or also a specific user. Let's say if you give it to a specific user and then if you delete that specific user, the policy will still stay and it will not get disappear like the inline one. So first we will do is we will run this command and find out all of the inline policies that are assigned to the caret pane. So let's just copy this and paste here. As you can see, this specific policy is assigned to this guy. We will remember this policy name, it will help us later in this challenge, so either we will note it down somewhere or just remember it. And now what we will do is that we will also see if the caret pane has some attached policy assigned to his account. So for that we will run this command. Let me paste it here and see the result. As we can see, there is no attached policy. This is that might be attached to this caret pane. So yeah, now since there is no attached policies to this specific user, we will see if this user is a part of any group or not. So for that we will just run this command and find out if this user is a part of any group or not. And over here, as you can see, this user is also not a part of any group. So we did not get much more information about this user and the policies. We will go back to this policy. So what we are going to do next is we will find out what this policies allow and what it does not allow, since it only for this user. Now we will use this command to find out the specific policy and what it does and what it allow that we found in the inline policy. So we know the name, it was caret pane policy, and let's press enter and see. As you can see, we have got the actual exact policy. There is a bunch of action that this user can perform, but what interesting over here is that this AssumeRole one, this can help us to go a little bit more deeper. AssumeRole enables the caret pane to switch to another role. So when you get switch to another role, you will also get that role permissions. So let's say if we switch to role A and it has like basic permission, and after that we switch to role B and that role has like high level privilege. So this will help us a lot. So next we can go and see. So this task is almost over. The remaining part will be done in the task 4. So let's just answer this question. What is the name of the policy that is assigned to this guy? So we know that it's a caret pane policy. And now we can move to the task 4. Now in task 4, what we'll do is to find exactly out how many roles are there so that we can actually move to or switch into. So for that we will just run this command. Let me just paste it here. So as we can see over here, there is only one role called bucket master. This is specifically made for this caret pane. Now let's find out if there is any inline policy given to this specific role. So for that, what we will do is we will just copy this command and paste here. This will help us find the inline policies attached to this role. So let me just press enter, and we do see a inline policy that is attached to this role. Right, next we will also see if there is any attached policy to this role. For that we will copy this and paste here. I think I need to copy it again and paste it here. Yeah, and see, as we can see in the attached policy, there is no policy attached to that role. Now that we only have the inline policy for that role, which is called bucket master policy. Let's look inside in this policy and exactly see what this policy says. So for that we will just run this command. I need to copy this way, so this is how it works, and we can see the exact policy. Let's just see what's going on over here. So basically, as we can see in this statement, this is the main part of the policy. We see three different type of action. One is this, another is this, and next one is this. So this first one allow us to list all of the bucket in the account. Remember we said that bucket is like a storage in the AWS account. So this might be like a directory in that specific storage, I guess. And then we have the list bucket. This action let us to see the actual content of each of the bucket, and then we have the get object of the bucket. This one let us to download and read the file of each of the bucket. Right, and next what we will do is, so now let's just copy this and try to switch to the bucket master role. Let me press enter and see what we get next. Alright, so after running this command to we were switching to the bucket master role, we got this temporary credential. What we will do now is to use these commands and use these exact credential, and after that we will run this command to confirm that we actually move to the bucket master role. So let me just paste here. I just type this and use this exact credential, and for the AWS secret key I use this one over here, you can see. Let me press enter on this as well, and then let me just paste this one as well. I use this token, and now we can just press enter as well. Now let's run this command. As you can see over here, we have switched to the bucket master role. Over here you can see, and now we can just answer the question: apart from get object and list bucket, what other action can be taken by assuming the bucket master role? So let's just see. So what they are saying is that we have one action which is the get object over here, and another is the list object, and another is list all my bucket. So these are two mentioned over here, and get and the list all my buckets one is not mentioned, so we will just type here and that one will be the right answer. So list all my buckets. Now we can move to the task 5. Yeah, so what is S3? We have already discussed this, but let me just tell you shortly that S3 is simply storage service of the AWS cloud storage, and every data goes into the buckets. It's like a directory or folder inside the S3 or storage service, and each of the bucket contains like different kind of files like images, docs, text file, these kind of files. So what we going to do is, since we already have the list all bucket action permission, and also we can see the air content, so first we will run this command to find out all of the buckets or folders, and after that we will just run this command. So as you see, we have one this bucket, another is this. We have two buckets over here, and this one looks a bit suspicious. So what we will do is to find all of the content that is inside in this bucket, and let's just copy this and see. So we see two different files, both are txt file. One is the cloud password.txt and another is the groceries. So what we are going to do is to copy this specific file to our local machine, because this is on the AWS right now. So for that we will just run this command, and it will move the file, this file, as we have just specified over here, to our local machine. Now the file is moved to our machine. We will just do ls and see if it's there or no. Yeah, as we can see, the file is moved to our device. Now we will just do get of it to see the content, and we can see our flag that we will use over here to just complete this challenge. Let me just copy this and paste here, and finally we have done this challenge as well. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next challenge.